Listen, all of us makers, we have a bit of swagger, right? A little je ne sais quoi. Is that how you say that? I know there's going to be someone in France that's like, dude, never come here. Never come to my country and ever try to speak my language. Boys, I can hardly speak English, all right? But I can build things, and that's what us makers do. And today we're going to build a multi-sensor for Home Assistant. If you didn't see my first video in this series where I actually built an M-wave sensor, if you're not familiar with that, that shoots out radar and is able to sense presence inside of a room. So it's a much better solution than using something like a PIR sensor that uses infrared light. It just senses motion. We are going to go a little backwards this time, and we're going to use a PIR sensor. We're going to use a DHT22 that will give us temperature and humidity, and then we're going to be using a photo sensor that will allow us to tell whether the lights are on or off. Now, the reason I'm not using an M-wave is because I'm going to put it in my garage. So oftentimes I like to use older technology because I'm really just concerned with movement in my garage, not necessarily present. The other thing too is I want to know when I drive away if I left my lights on, for example, inside of the garage. And then lastly, be nice just to know the temperature. I do store a lot of batteries in there, so I don't like it to get too cold or too hot. So I like to know what it looks like, even to the point.
Again, I'm a nerd. Hopefully you guys get this.
I believe in these little microclimates. If you have your thermistor somewhere, it's only going to sense what's directly around it. So I actually like to put my sensors right by my batteries. This will be really cool because I'll have quite a few temperature sensors in my garage. Don't even have to solder on this one. In my last one, you had to solder. I'm going to be using 10 centimeter female to female jumper wires. Then if you do have a 3D printer, I'm going to 3D print off a case and we're going to put it in the garage to solve my problem. That's what us makers do. So it's time to go get it, boys. As with most of my projects, I like to start on my drawing board. And I'm going to walk you through just the material list as well as the hookups that we're going to physically make with these jumper wires once we get through this part. So the first thing is I purchased an ESP32. This one is, I'm probably going to butcher this name, but Talia 10 Robot ESP32. The big thing to know here is it's a 30 pin. Here's a picture of it on the right hand side. One of the first things I like to do when I get any board in the door or I'm doing any type of project like this is to pull reference and to get this pinout diagram. You can also look at the side here. It'll have it screen printed on. These are sometimes very hard to read. They're very small. So I just like to have this in reference, especially when we're hooking up our signal wires from the sensor to the ESP32. If you are using another board, just make sure you pull down the right diagram because your GPIOs might be in different places than mine are. Then you're going to need to buy 3 sensors: a photo sensor, a PIR sensor, and a DHT22 sensor. Above and beyond that, you'll need a DuPont terminal block. This is just a power distribution block so that we can power all of these off of the 2 pins of the ESP32 being 3 volt positive and then your ground, which is negative. We're going to connect those, as I mentioned, with those 10 centimeter female to female jumper wires. Once we bring these over, this whole row right here will be positive, and then this whole row will be negative. That's important because each one of these has a pin that is VCC and ground, positive and negative. So what we need to do is we're going to wire this. If this is VCC, we'll bring this down to one of these blocks, to the positive. If this is ground, we'll bring this down to this block. It's just a way for us to get power to all these sensors and distribute it from just these 2 power pins, positive and negative, from the ESP. Now, the other thing they'll have is a signal pin. So this one for the photo sensor, we're going to be hooking that up to pin D34 on the ESP32. Same thing with the PIR, hooking up an out signal to a D19. And then for the DHT22, it needs to go to D13. So now that you understand that, we're going to physically wire this up. Then I'll jump over on Home Assistant and we'll get it commissioned and we'll actually be able to physically start seeing some of these values and be able to use it in our Home Assistant setup. This part's a little bit difficult to show you, so I'm just going to get you started and then I'll do a quick montage of me wiring it all up. But you can see here, hopefully once it gets in focus, I just have my jumper wires there and they're connected to the 3 volt and then the ground next to that. Now on this particular board, on the other side over here, there's also a VIN and a ground. I don't suggest you use those because we really want to power just with 3 volt. Make sure you're plugging it into the 3 volt and the ground. And that's where this comes in. This is that distribution block, that little DuPont block. So we're simply going to take our positive, or our 3-volt, in this case it's this black wire. We're going to hook it up to the positive here. And then once we do that, we will take the ground and we'll hook that up to the negative on this part of the DuPont block or power distribution block. So it should look like that. And then we would take this, and this side will be positive, this side will be negative. These will all go out to the sensor. Quick recap and to double check your work, here is what I have wired up. You'll notice the white wires and then the yellow wires. Those are my signal wires. Now that just corresponds with a pin on each one of your sensor, which is going to give you the output that we're going to read by the ESP32. Now on the code, that'll be listed. So it'll say PIR digital out or whatever it may be to D19. And then you just need to make sure you're connecting that digital out to pin D19. And you're going to do that for each of these 3 sensors. So you should have 3 of these digital out input pins connected. And then you should have 2 connected here, one on the 3-volt, one on the ground. That's going to be your positive, negative. As I explained, that'll go to your DuPont or your power block. And then you'll have a positive and negative. Then each one of these sensors will need to be powered. So you'll have a positive and a negative, then wired back to the power distribution block. All that's left now is to plug it into your host machine. Now make sure you're using a data USB micro. In my case, for this particular board, you might have a USB-C, but make sure you're plugging it into a USB port that is hosting Home Assistant. In my case, it's a Raspberry Pi. I'll plug it in there, and then we just need to power up our instance of Home Assistant, jump on there, and we can actually flash it, put the code on it, and get this thing working. Now we are inside of Home Assistant. I have this hosted on a Raspberry Pi 8GB version, and it does a really good job. So if you're looking to set up a instance of Home Assistant, I'll leave a couple links down below to some great tutorials on that. The other thing you will need to install is an add-on called ESPhome Builder. This is going to allow us to manage our ESP devices. So once you're here, all you need to do is hit New Device, hit Continue. We're going to go ahead and name this. So I'm going to name this Garage Sensors. And I'm going to hit Next. Once we're here, we just need to hit ESP32, and then I'm going to skip this. Once we are done skipping that, we can go ahead and hit Edit. And this is where we're going to change some things. We're going to change this right here, and we're going to make it specific to the board we're using. Then the other area, we're just going to cut and paste from the code that I have linked down below, anything underneath that captive portal. So first, we're just going to change this. And all it really did, if you want to do by hand, is put the node 32S there. And then down below here, we will go down to, and then backspace, make sure this cursor is right in line with the C, and go over to the code and copy anything that is below the captive portal. Once you do that, come back to your code, hit Control V to paste it in. And here's where we're defining all our sensors and what we want to read. You'll notice here, there's the PIR sensor. You'll see there it's on pin 19. Again, here is the light sensor. That one is on GPIO 34, and then temp and humidity sensor is on GPIO 13. Obviously, this is where we get the wiring diagram from, because we're defining it on our code. We're pulling in the libraries and what sensor it is, and then now we're ready to save this. So go ahead and save it. So now that it's saved, I'm going to go ahead and install it. Go ahead and hit Install up top. Now, you have a couple different options here, and this is where I say that I plug it into the computer running ESPhome device builder, or in this case, Home Assistant, because this is running inside of Home Assistant. So I'll go ahead and hit that. You'll notice here, this is just my Zigbee controller. If you're using Zigbee, make sure you do not select that one. I want to use this one up here. It's automatically found it. So now we just get to sit back and let it do its thing. It's going to go ahead and install a couple of things. It's going to flash it. It's going to get it online. And then it's going to pull down some libraries for all those sensors. once that's complete, you'll start seeing it posting some data. We can stop this, and then let's go over to settings. Then we'll go to devices. Now I already did this, so typically what you'll see up top here is it will pop up and say found ESPhome device garage sensors. Already did that and hit yes. So now just go down to ESPhome, and here is all of my ESPhome devices. Go to garage sensors and you'll see one device. If I hit that, that'll kind of bring us to the status page, and you can see here it's working. We've got 45% humidity. That just turned on, so it's a little high actually right now, I believe. Yeah, we're at 34 on my other sensors. So it just takes some time to acclimate to that and the temperature. And then the light, that's showing it is true light in here, and it's very, very light in here. That's the value that says, yep, it is. If it's lower, it's dark. And then right now, no motion, so it's going to say clear. So I'm going to go try to set the motion off. I just did, so it's detecting that. So it looks like everything is working just fine. There's nothing wrong. In fact, I got mad respect if you just keep this thing raw dog style, like some Art Deco piece, man. Certainly a conversation starter, but not the most tidy. So I was able to find a 3D model on the internet that I'm now going to print out. Now, I did have to make some post modifications to it. I already printed it out, already tested all this. I'll walk you through those after we get it printed. I want to apologize real quickly for the quality of this. Unfortunately, my second camera is in the shop, so I'm on an old camera, but the show must go on. First thing you want to do is bend these DH22 pins a little bit so that it slides into the spot for it, and it actually will wedge it against the side. I've found that to be pretty secure. I'll do something here at the end to make sure it's secure, but I found just wedging it in like this, and it makes it flat and flush. It holds down pretty well. I've done 3 of these now, so I haven't had a problem. The next thing is seating the ESP32. There are these 4 little posts, and there's 4 holes in the ESP32. It slides on it, fits pretty secure as well. I haven't had to use any glue on that part. So just place that down in there. It should snap into place. Now we're going to add in the PIR sensor. First thing you want to do is peel off that little hood. Then we're going to take off this housing and just do it pretty gently. Then use this pointy object to shave out the sides. I had to do this. I don't know if it was my print or not, but I've had to do this on all of them just to make a little room so that that housing for the PIR sensor slides in. I keep it pretty tight. I try it, and then here I'm going to grab this pencil, this Apple pencil, and just use that to wedge it in. So I want to make sure it's a pretty tight fit so don't overshave that part. Do the same on the internal. And this will just help that PIR sensor, the actual sensor, slide into that housing a little easier. Now just plug it in here. Do this pretty gently as well. And just snap it into place. And that should be good. Now put this housing back on. And that part is done. The only other thing you need to do is bend this just a little bit. Be very careful, very fragile. Now we're going to slide in the photo sensor, or the light sensor, underneath that. But the first thing we need to do is bend down the sensor itself. This is the light sensor that's going to sense the light, and we need that to stick out of the front. There is a little hole right below the PIR hole, so that will just kind of go right there. And then you got to work this a little bit. This one for me was a little tricky, but I was able to get it down on the pin. It wasn't as secure as like the ESP32, so I ended up just wiggling it on here and then deciding to drop a little bit of hot glue right where that post is, just to make sure that we have this pretty steady and it holds down that light sensor. All right, now once that is done, I'm going to push down the PIR sensor pins just a little bit. That helps to hold that light sensor as well. So that's pretty much all of it all together here. I went ahead and added some glue to the DH22 just to make sure that was secure against the side. Probably didn't need to do that, but I had the glue. It was no big of a deal, and I decided to go ahead and make sure that it was just sticking there to the side of the case. So now we just need to kind of scrunch all those wires up. Be pretty careful here. Pretty rugged though. as long as you have every one of those pins, pushed down on top of the pin of the ESP and on the sensors, snap this thing together. It's pretty slick, actually. I'm pretty pleased with it. You can see there the PIR and the light sensor, some vents, and then we have the DHT22, and then of course the micro USB there. I'm pretty pleased with this, and now all that's left is to put it in my garage. So this is another ESP32 sensor build, multi-sensor. We've got 3 sensors in here, and we hooked it up to Home Assistant. This is rather easy now, especially with those jumper cables. If this is your first time doing it, don't fret. You can do this. You saw most of it's cut and paste. And of course, all the links to the code, all the links to the products, the link to the 3D printed case will all be down below. Some of those links are affiliate links for the products. It doesn't cost you a thing, but if you use those links, it does provide a little bit of money. I mean, tiny little pences of money to the channel. And as you heard, and I'm highly embarrassed of that footage prior to this, but my second camera is in the shop, so that's going to be a bill. We don't make a whole lot of money. I don't ask for money out of you guys, but if you are going to do this, use those links. It does help me out quite a bit. So with that, I'm very pleased with this. I have 3 of them now. This is my 3rd one. This one's going into the garage, as you heard. And wow, just being able to hook up 3 different sensors to one ESP32, that's going to save you for, having to use an ESP32 for every one of these sensors. Heck, you could even do more sensors on these things. There's plenty of GPIO pins. So this just happens to be, a threefer. And I really think this is going to be useful in my setup. Anyways, if you like this, I hope you will consider liking and subscribing. As always, my name's Hill Phantom, and I'll see you next time.